Welcome to the new Overlords Podcast, where we talk about video games. I'm Max, and with me, as always, is our very own Lady Liberty, my co-host Sema. Hello there, Sema.
Hello, and I am sitting on a throne right now.
Yes.
A golden throne with red velvet seat.
Is it a throne of lies? Journalism lies? We'll talk about that later.
Review.
Why did I call you Lady Liberty? Nobody knows. Why is Throne and Liberty called Throne and Liberty? Nobody knows. We'll talk about that today, too. I've been playing quite a bit of Throne and Liberty while I've been drinking my pumpkin spice mini drinks, because it is finally October. I'm actually not. I don't consume many pumpkin spice things, but you can. Not. You could now. It's allowed. It's not allowed in August when people try to make it happen. Stop making holidays happen before even the month that the holiday is in. It's October 31st. It's the very last day of the month. It's not like...
He's got many, many rules.
I mean, like Canadian Thanksgiving is coming on Monday, I believe. So, I mean, that's at least in the first half of October. So if in September you were getting excited about it, okay. Which we all should be getting excited about Canadian Thanksgiving. I am. Anyway, Throne and Liberty is a game. We will be talking about that. We will be talking about some other news too. So let's talk about some news.
Good news, everyone.
First up in the news, we did have the release. We will not be talking about it today, but we will talk about it next week. Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred. So this is the expansion, the story expansion to Diablo 4. They've added a couple extra features in as well. I am excited to get into it. I'm a big fan of the Diablo 4 story and how that all happened in the first game. I played through it a ton. I played it up until the end game. I, got a little bit of gear. I'm not really into like the seasons or the end game or hard mode or any of that kind of thing, but this is the kind of thing I am into.
Yeah, and you're not alone. A lot of our friends are playing Diablo 4 and loving it.
Yeah. It did have a little bit of a delayed release. They ran into some last minute technical issues, as launches sometimes do, but it wasn't very long. And now that we're a couple days after it, doesn't seem like there's a bunch of lingering anger around that. I was trying to keep an eye on it. It was kind of a headline. I only threw it in the news to even mention it because I saw a really good forum quote on it. And it was, "Gamers, this is why you don't take the day off for launch. You quit your job completely instead. So then you're ready anytime it comes up."
Ready for anything.
I thought that was clever. I thought that was a clever response. Just quit your job completely. Don't just take the day off. So yeah, it's up and running. A lot of people seem to be having some fun with it. I think for the most part, a lot of people are having a fun with it that have come back to the game. Like they played at launch and now they're coming back to it. A lot has changed along the way. So they're also, and this will be me as well, they're getting to experience all of those other tweaks and adjustments and changes that the hardcore players that have been playing since launch have been experiencing along the way and have been liking. So I'm excited to see that too. In other Blizzard news, you got some for us, don't you, Sema? Some journalism to discuss.
Yeah, so there's a book coming out about the history of Blizzard Entertainment, written by Jason Schreier, who's a reporter at Bloomberg and has a long history of not only game journalism, but he's also written other books about games. And from his own sort of description of his efforts, he talked to many, many people. He spent several years writing the book. It talks about the history of Blizzard, which started out as something in Synapse. The name escapes me, but it went through several names before they came Blizzard. And he tells a story where they didn't like this option, they didn't like that option, they didn't like that. So one day they just opened the dictionary and started reading words and making note of the ones that they didn't hate.
And they only had to get to B before.
And the word Blizzard was on that list, and that's what they ended up with, which I thought was unique.
That's kind of the way it needs to happen. Plus, then you have to look at like trademark searches and all of that.
Yes,
and put it
yes,
against
yes.
that list. It's not easy. It's not easy to come up
Right,
with names,
right.
having done it recently and a couple
Some of
times.
the names they had adopted, they ran into those kinds of difficulties with, so they kind of just got tired of trying to pick a name that they liked and then seeing if it would work, and they just went with, words in general.
Yeah.
And then Gildy in Discord mentioned he was reading it, and he gave us a tidbit, factoid thing from the book, which is that Andy Weir, who's the author of The Martian, worked for Blizzard back in the day.
I thought that was interesting. I'm a
Yeah.
fan of a couple of his books. Some of his books are, I mean, the Martian was just incredible. It was awesome. It blew my mind when that happened. So I was a big fan of that. I'm surprised he worked at Blizzard though. I thought he was like an engineer or something.
Well, maybe he was an engineer
Oh, so
at
maybe he
Blizzard.
was technical.
Yeah.
I thought he like worked at NASA though too. Andy Weir, American novelist. Anyway, this is not
Yes,
about
maybe.
Andy.
Right, right.
This is
And
about
also, this brings me to what I was going to say too, is like, just because he says it in a book doesn't necessarily mean it's true. I'm not calling him a liar,
so
but, corroborate. That's
trust but
always what I,
verify. That's what
yes,
Sema told
right.
Sema, do you want to talk about this? And she said, why would I trust this person?
That
And I
is
was
one of
like,
my
do you
rants.
have any history with them? Well, he's a journalist. I don't trust any journalists. I don't trust
Right,
anything on the internet either, which is
right.
a good policy. That's not a bad way to go through life. But
I
yeah,
do. Yeah, that is one of my rants, which I can go on and on about, as some people already know. But like, anytime I see like based on a true story or blah 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 blah, I just go, okay, well then, what
right,
part of it's true and what part of it's lies?
right. Because it needs to be a compelling read, and often the truth and facts aren't compelling. They may be fine, but
But that,
you need
but
to
it's the
dramatize potentially
it's the
or
opinion of the person that isn't compelling.
right.
So, and if it's not compelling, then why don't you write your own story?
Right fiction
Yeah.
about Blurzerd, the fictional company
Well,
Blurzerd
actually,
that had
yes, I'm talking about like movies that are fictional, but they say they're based on it. I kind of slightly
yeah,
changed the subject. I'm sure that Jason did not make up anything
no,
that's in his,
no, no,
but he could be on a drama hunt, and I wouldn't know that, right? So,
yes,
or he could be telling his view of what people said to him. But he talked to a lot of different people, according to him,
yep,
so it should even out.
yep. If anyone does get into it and finds anything interesting, I bet
This hard
this
park
is
entertainment.
they could have had that. It could have been. That would have been
Even
on their
there,
list if they went through the dictionary.
yeah,
Even if they only got to B, they would have seen A right at the top of the list. But
right, especially AA.
I don't know, because it's got the AA. It probably was taken, because that's how you get at the top of the phone book page, boys and girls who don't know what phone books are. We used to have these books, and everybody's phone number, public information, everybody's phone number and name would be listed in the phone book, and you could just go to a public phone book. We talk about all this data privacy protection stuff. Everybody's name and phone. You used to be able to, like, I guess, ask, but nobody did. You could ask to not have your name and phone number in the phone book, but nobody did. So there's this big book that you could like go to a phone booth and have these too. It was like it was like 500 pages for like the Chicago phone book, and you
And
could
you
like
go, oh, some pages are missing.
you'd like page through it and look up everybody's name and find their phone number and call them.
And that's why it's not St. Louis Animal Hospital, it's Animal Hospital of St. Louis
Yes.
or whatever, because in the yellow pages it would come first.
Yes. AAA plumbing, AAA plumbing. That would be in the yellow pages too, because the yellow pages had like the business listings with like maybe like a little square where they could put like more text and a logo.
Yeah, it was an
Yeah.
ad that they paid for.
Yep. Anyway, phone books. There you go. Ask your
It was
grandparents.
very thin paper.
Uh,
So I hear.
Also in game news, I shook my head over this one. We've got a Red Dead Redemption 1 coming to PC on October 29th. Aren't you excited, Sema? That 14 years later after the original release?
I'm not as unexcited as you are. Because you're
Yeah, I don't know. I'm completely unexcited. It's
I
not
actually
bad.
thought
I mean,
Red Dead I already thought you could play Red Dead Redemption on PC.
which is
So,
Red Dead Redemption 2
yeah.
and yes, you can, and you have been able to for years, and it's a good game, and it was a good sequel, and it was an upgrade. This isn't even a remaster or a remake. Supposedly they're gonna like soup it up a little bit, but who knows what that means.
No, I mean
Upscaling.
maybe it's just so people can play it.
Yeah, like DLSS upscaling is what
Yeah.
it is. Money. I think it's
Well,
because
yeah.
money.
Right, of course,
I
but
mean, not in a bad way, but
no.
who is asking for this?
I don't know, but if someone said you could play Pandora's Box on PC and it looked just like it did, I would be interested.
You want me to send you the CD? I have it. Do you have a CD player that you can play it
You
off
think
of?
it would actually run? I mean, do
Good
I?
question. I don't know. I know
I
I've got it in a box over there. That's
It was
interesting.
like for Windows 3 or something.
Yes, Windows
Windows
3.1, Windows for Workgroups. Windows Millennium Edition. Windows ME. So yeah, Red Dead Redemption 1 is coming to PC 14 years later. Good job on that porting schedule. I wonder if somebody's been working on it this whole time. It's like one person in the basement. I'm going to get this done. I swear it. Someday.
They took his stapler.
Some Milton down in the basement, and they forgot
always
he was
run out
doing
of
it. He
birthday
came out
cake.
of the basement, earlier this year. He's like, "Excuse me, I believe you've been waiting for this port to PC. Have we? All right, put that up on Steam. Let's go." And then this next one story I just thought was interesting. I love this idea. I think it'll be completely useless and nobody will use it really, but
Or they will hate it.
A Quiet Place is getting a game. And I didn't even see the movie, but I'm quite familiar with it. It's these evil aliens come and they hate noise. It hurts them. So if they hear any noise, they come and kill you. So it's sort of a cool concept. And there's been a couple movies based around this idea of Quiet Place. Quiet Place, The Road Ahead is a game that is being released soon, I believe. I think it's being released soon. I don't think it's released yet. But what it's going to have is the ability to enable your microphone and have noise detection so that if you make any sounds in real life, the monsters come and kill you. So I don't really know what the purpose is. I guess you have to just be in a quiet.
It's clearly to get
house?
your credit card information.
Yes. Yes. The echo is listening. I was talking about Mozambique, and now I get ads from Mozambique in Twitter. Okay.
I didn't even know
Twitter's not
Mozambique
even
was
connected
for
to
sale.
Amazon for one. For two, are you sure you haven't actually been on that platform searching for that term? And they said, "Hey, you searched for this term. We're just going to give you an answer." Nope.
Definitely was not searching that.
Anyway.
I like one of the comments on that IGN article is this guy says, "My kids are about to get my ass killed."
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Exactly.
That's right.
But that's got to be what it's for, because if you're playing it, you'll just be quiet. So it's got to be
Right.
to accidentally get you killed because other people are loud in your vicinity.
Right.
But this idea
Or
of-
your chair squeaks or
Yeah. This idea of using the microphone in interesting ways and making that part of the game, I love that concept. And I had this concept about 20 years ago. I wanted to make a game. If you read the book Dune, I don't think I still haven't watched Dune 2 because I'm trying to get my kids to watch it with me. So this could be in Dune 2. But if you read the book Dune, there was a technology with the weapons, the guns that they used, where they would have to vocalize a certain vocalization to resonate with the gun to make it shoot. I don't know. It's a ridiculous concept when you just pull a trigger. But they had like these killing words then. I had this concept 20 years ago. I wanted to make a game where either like magic based, where you had to like say the runes of the spell and cast it by saying it, or, you know, that Dune concept where you'd say the killing word, and depending on how you said it in your intonation, it would potentially affect the way that the weapon worked. I thought that was that would be cool to roll into a game concept. Nobody's done it, and it probably would be more annoying than not, and interfere with room sounds and all of it. It's probably a terrible idea, but I think as an experiment, I think it could be a cool thing. So maybe I'll do it someday. There you go. But yeah, turn on your microphone and get et by a monster. Quick rundown of the game releases that are coming this month that we are excited about. And by we, I mean, let's see, by me. I am excited about these.
Right.
Diablo 4, which I will be playing this weekend. It released yesterday. Looks like it's all ready to go. I will be into it because I am done with Throne and Liberty. Not in a bad way. We'll talk about that in a second. New World Aeternum, October 15th. I will be checking back in on New World, which I like to do periodically. New World is an MMO, which I like better than Throne and Liberty. I don't know why I'm already, poisoning the well or leading the witness. It's a fine game. We'll talk about it in a second. And then Dragon Age the Veilguard, which I am fascinated by because I didn't play Dragon Age up till this point in time, and I always meant to. It is not an MMO, and that's why I want to get into it. I do want to play this, and I am excited to try it out. That's coming on Halloween, on the 31st, which is a terrible day to release the game. Although we barely get any trick-or-treaters around here these days anymore. So maybe I can spend the day playing the Veilguard. And since it's a single-player game, I can pause it.
Oh, yeah, and you especially don't get them during the day, right?
This has been the problem playing MMOs back in the day on Halloween, is you can't pause. So that's why I always played Night Elves in WoW, because I could shadow meld. I loved Night Elf just for that shadow meld ability, because I had kids, I had like babies, and you can't pause an MMO, but I could go duck behind a tree and shadow meld, and then I'm good. So yeah, I'm excited to play that. So we'll see. I forget about it, and you are our WoW expert. What's the roadmap? Is there anything interesting coming for the WoW roadmap in the next few weeks? By the end of October? Probably. So keep an eye out for that too.
I'm a terrible WoW expert.
Well, you are not, though. We will get your WoW rundown in a bit as well, and hear a little bit about WoW rating, which I'm excited about. But that's it for the news. As always, thanks to all of you out there for following and listening. If you need any of the subscribe links for audio or video, they're all on newoverlords.com. Special thanks to everybody that hangs out with us live here on Twitch or in our Discord, where we talk about fun stuff pretty much all day, every day. Also, don't forget, if you're looking for one of those big family-friendly gaming communities, the one that Sema and I play in is called Alea Iacta Est. A bunch of our good friends in there. You can find more about that guild at aie-guild.org and get on the AIE Discord for all the games. And by all the games, I mean all the games. Big guilds in most of the major MMOs. And then the Nomads channel has everybody playing every other possible game, asking questions and seeing if anybody else is playing it. Really fun. But we do have an MMO to talk about today, don't we?
It looks like meat's back on our menu, boys.
No way. God. Finally.
And by meat, you mean MMO?
MMO meat. We have not gotten some MMO in our diet, new MMO in our diet in a while. And this is a major release. It's a big deal. So I think it's worth anybody who's a fan of MMOs should definitely be taking a look, because it is a significant release. Throne and Liberty is a game that has been released for about a year in Korea. It had middling reception in Korea. It definitely was built as a Korean style MMO with a lot of grinding, pay to win aspects, a mobile, sort of like a target for mobile implementation as well. Since then, Amazon helped them port it to the Western market. And by port, I mean they also went through and helped them redo the monetization and redo some of the features and the way that it executes so that it's more palatable to Western sensibilities, which don't like heavy pay to win. And they don't like, the whales have only the whales have the best gear, and overly grinding, RNG grinding for gear and weapons and things like that. It's not completely gone, but a lot of it is. And they've smoothed out a lot of that quite a bit. So I tried it. I played it. I played about 8 to 10 hours, I would say. So I didn't get too far. I think I'm up around level 20. Leveling goes relatively quickly. They kind of want to get you into level 50, I think it is the max level. Get you into that end game where the game kind of is focused. PvP is a focus, large scale PvP, these big battles that you can partake in. There's some arena stuff as well, but it's also a full MMO. And there's PvE and there's dungeons and there's bosses and open world events. So I'll talk about what I've done, what I was doing, and my experiences in there. But yeah, it's a game. It is a game.
I wonder what Amazon's idea is in doing this.
I think they're happy to be a publisher and help get more games out because they're a fledgling publisher in some ways. They haven't done a lot of things. So maybe they felt like this was another opportunity to take something and maybe help make it big and have another notch on their belt.
Just why an MMO, though, when they have their own MMO?
Right. And
they already know what kind of business it is. And so maybe they saw something in this that appealed.
Maybe they did, which is interesting because a lot of other people didn't. As I said, it did not perform very well from a success perspective in Korea against other games. It didn't fail completely, but it kind of did not meet its expectations. Overall, I guess I'll start there.
Maybe Koreans aren't happy with pay to win. Either.
Maybe everybody's sort of like moving on from that and growing out of that idea of pay to win being a really good thing and the grindiness. So my overall experience with Throne and Liberty is it's a fine MMO. My hesitance, if you sense some hesitance in my voice there, is I don't feel or see anything in it, even, leading up to it, or what I've seen so far of or the videos I've watched of the end game or where it's headed or the roadmap. Nothing that really kind of like sets it apart or differentiates it or makes it special. But that's not bad. That's not necessarily bad.
No. MMOs are like a different animal altogether. And it's almost like, if they're different, that's kind of a minus.
Right. It could be a bad thing, right?
Because when someone says, okay, I want to play this MMO, what they're really saying is, I want to get invested in this, fall in love with my character, progress him and enjoy that while I'm doing it. And,
right.
It's not like play it for a few hours. Well, I mean, you can play it for a few hours, but if it's not like an RPG where you can say I'm going to play through the story and then decide if I like it,
right? And you can't beat the game in any reasonable amount of time, if ever,
or ever,
And
MMOs are also the most difficult to develop for that reason because they're just it's like if you compare to a first-person shooter, it's like you have to have cutscenes, you have to have continuing content, you have to have different things for different people, on and on and on. And in a first-person shooter, you also have to do a lot of development, but once you kind of push it out there, it kind of plays itself.
The content, the game is the content. It makes itself. Fighting against other players is the content.
Yeah.
And even if they never added anything to the game, or there was no progression, or there was no gear, you could potentially have unlimited fun because you just queue up for another match and fight and have fun. It might get stale after a while, but the fighting game is the fighting game. MMOs all tend to have PvP as part of it because at least there is, for the people that like that, a chunk of the game that is evergreen and has that aspect of being able to have unlimited content. Queue up, have another battle. Queue up, have another battle. Again, my overall impression of Throne and Liberty is that it does all of the MMO, a lot of the MMO things. It's got a couple differences that I'll get into that are kind of fun, but it's like if NC Soft, who made this, and said, I kind of think we should make an MMO. All right, I sitting around at a table, a bunch of designers and developers. Oh, okay, all right, let's make an MMO. Well, what's in an MMO? Well, here's a checklist of stuff that's in an MMO. All right, can we do those things? Okay, yeah, we can do those things. Fishing, gonna put some fishing in? Yeah, we'll put some fishing in. Gathering, gonna cast gathering nodes? Yeah, we'll throw some of those in. So is there a story? Yeah, kind of. All of it seems to me to be the boxes have been checked.
Flying whale.
It's got a flying whale, and you can go up on top of it for some reason. What is the story of the flying whale? Nobody knows. Or maybe it's got a story. It's kind of a lot of that. The weapon system is interesting. A lot of it reminds me of Guild Wars 2, without the depth of story and expansiveness of zones. But a lot of it reminds me of Guild Wars 2 in terms of the combat. You get 2 weapons. What are the weapons? Anything special? No. I mean, you get a great sword, or you get some daggers, or you get a bow, or a staff. Or there's like 8 weapons. But you pick 2. And this is where some of the complexity of the builds come in a little bit of an interesting way. You get 10 skill slots on your bar. Each weapon has like 8 or 10 possible skills, like 8 possible skills. And you mix and match them. You get 2 weapons, and that's what you make your build out of. So you could say, well, I want some of the abilities off of the wand and tome, because that's like some healing stuff there. And I want some of the abilities off of the greatsword. Okay, you just make those 2 your weapons, and your greatsword and healing abilities off the wand and tome. I picked, and I watched some videos, and I picked longbow, staff. So I could shoot fireballs for like AoE stuff, and I could have a root and some buff and healing abilities off my longbow. For some reason, the longbow can heal you. I don't know why. Now you don't really swap weapons, that's where it kind of breaks down in my mind. So ESO, you can have 2 weapons, and then this weapon swapping is where some of the interesting part of the gameplay, the fighting, comes in, because you might be on you say front bar, back bar. You might be on your front bar as your main weapon for your instant abilities. Then you flip to your back bar weapon to cast your dots and your buffs. And then you flip back to your front bar weapon. And that weapon swapping is a key aspect. Here, you just have 2 weapons. And if you use ability off of one bar, well, that weapon just appears in your hands and you do it. And then if you press button number 2 to use the button number 2nd ability off of your wand, that just appears in your hand and you shoot your wand, which I thought was weird. The only reason to swap your weapons is the auto attack, which you do want auto attack going off, but the auto attack doesn't do all that much. But you do run out of cooldowns. You do run out of, even though you've got 10 buttons to press, you can have all 10 buttons on cooldown. So auto attack does matter. But yeah, so that's it. I mean, there's melee and range. It feels fine. It doesn't feel awesome.
Does it have tanks, healers, and DPS?
Kind of. Yep. Yeah. So like the great sword, you stack in, the endurance stat and get a little bit more health and make yourself tankier, and get mitigation, and you're sort of a tank. You have the wand and tome, and is basically the healer role for healer content. And you do need those roles if you're going to go do, it's like the group content, like dungeons. But for PvP, a mix of those is good, but that's, more sort of like responding rock, paper, scissors and having support classes on the back line. Because you can swap these weapons in and out, the two of your two weapons, you can have a sort of a balance. You can have healing and tankiness, which is weird. Not weird, but which sort of breaks that. It's not like you picked a healing class. You don't pick classes. You just grab a couple weapons. The place where it becomes grindy is in order to level up your skills and level up your weapons, you need to actively do that over time. So you need to be collecting materials out in the world. You need to be going to special people. You need to level up your weapon. And if you get a better weapon, you can actually convert your current weapon over into transmit some of those levels over to the new weapon. So you want to be doing that. The downside to that is as you're leveling up to level 50 and as you get into the end game, you may play for a couple weeks and level up your skills and level up your weapon, or play for a month to get it to max out some of your weapon progression. And then you might say, I'd rather switch to the daggers instead of the sword. Okay, well, now you got another month ahead of you to level up that weapon. You can, again, I think there are ways to convert some things over and to bring some of the things along the way. But that's a place where the cost will come in though too. You will need some special tokens that you don't get many of in the game to be converting some of those things over. But yeah, anyway, so it's got that. Story. So I played it. Again, I think it was like another thing where I guess there kind of is a story. This is a place where some things might have got lost in translation, but each area you get to when you get to the quick travel point, you bind to the quick travel point. It gives you a little bit of an overview and tells you a little bit of that history of the area. But every time I would get to one, it would be like, Lord Blurgisnag of the Comblagang founded this city in, year 75326564.
Right.
Okay, great. That means nothing to me at all. In the early cutscenes when you start the game, so I'm playing the game, and there's this purple lightning girl, and I guess she's still around. She's an antagonist, and she's got a name. What it is, I don't know, but she's like a thing. And then there's like this older wizard guy, and he saves you, right? Because you're like a little kid, and you've got this star shard because you're starborn. What does that mean? Doesn't matter. But that's what you are. That's what gives you magic abilities. And he saves you, and then he dies. Okay, well, I guess he was kind of cool, but I guess that's not anybody I need to pay attention to. I get to the next town, and I hear this story about this hero who saved the town and did this special thing, and he's dead too. Okay, there's another named character. There's only one named character who I even know now after playing for 10 hours, and that's I guess two. One, his name is Clay, and he's like a nerdy magic dude with a monocle. Classic. He looks like a Final Fantasy 14 character. Nerdy magic dude with a monocle, Clay. Fine. I've seen him a couple times. And then so I don't know if you could see this. This is a 4K video of just showing some of the scenery, which I'll talk about in the art in a second, which again is fine. People are saying it's beautiful. Yeah, it kind of is. If you see though, there's like a little teddy bear thing following this guy around.
Yes, I did see that.
So when you start the game, there's a little teddy bear. They've got a name. They're Amatoys. I thought I had a video of the Amatoys.
And he must be customizable because I've seen him in different colors.
Yes, so you can customize them and you can get more. It's like a little pet. And then you can send them out on little missions. But where's my Amatoi? So there's one that helps you in the beginning of the story. Where I think I have another video of it. It's like the playthrough. Yeah, 19 minutes. IGN's 19 minutes. First 19 minutes of gameplay. IGN makes good sort of playthrough videos. I kind of like what they do there. So at the end here, so as you're getting through the story, this little Amatoi called Helpy comes, and she's voiced and she's cute, and she like, she like discovers you as you're like going through the tutorial levels and learning the game. And she's a cute little teddy bear stuffed animal thing. But by the time you like finish all the intro areas and you're done with like the capital city and the first town, she leaves and she's gone. So Helpy, the little teddy bear thing, is gone too. So I have another one. It's like some little thing. I don't know what it is. Do I care? I guess I don't, because I kind of got attached to Helpy, and now she's gone. So
Wait, her name is Helpy?
Yes, her name is Helpy.
Wow. Okay.
Kind of on the nose, ain't it?
Yeah.
So her name is Helpy, but everything, I kind of feel like everything is that way. Well, what are we going to name the helper? Helpy. What are we going to name the game? I don't know. Throne and Liberty. What does that mean? I don't know. Are there thrones? Kinda. There was a king one time. Were there more thrones? Well, there's a throne. What's the Liberty? I don't know. It's a good thing, though. Don't we all like liberty? Liberty and thrones and liberty and justice for all. I don't know. There's goblins in here, and they look like the goblins from Harry Potter, and they talk like goblins, and the voice acting is fine, and they have pretty good faces on the characters, and half the things are voiced. Your character isn't voiced at all, and it's fine. The mouths do not match the voices at all, and I have a pet peeve about that. But again, that could be because it was originally in Korean, and maybe they did match perfectly in Korean. So yeah, I don't know. You're a star. You have a star shard in you from this star of something, and you're starborn. And then there's like this bad faction of the bad guys who want to take all the star shards. And I don't know if they have to kill you to do that or not, but
I was going to say that sounds painful.
They're hunting everybody that has star shards. But that's what gives you some magic ability. And then there was another magic ability called the Mauve Essence, which came up in story like, oh yeah, that evil wolf came and attacked the village, and it was filled with an evil Mauve Essence because it was like a purple magic color. So, it was called Mauve Essence.
But mauvais also means bad in French. So I wonder
there
if
we go.
That's
So
what I
maybe
thought they were
it's
going for.
Mauve,
And then like a mauvais essence, yeah.
Maybe it's a
But yes, the color too. That's funny.
So the bad essence, and they call you Starborn, which in Starfield, you're Starborn also. So I found that disjointed in my mind, because I'm also a Starborn in here. Not bad, because I like being Starborn in Starfield, so it's fine. So everything is fine though. So that's a thing that you can get away with thinking about if you want to go try out this game. Is like, if you like Guild Wars, it doesn't have as much as Guild Wars has in it these days, but the graphics are slightly better because it's Unreal 5, and I think it's Unreal 5. And it, so it looks pretty good.
I will say though, in Guild Wars, if you have a little cute character like that cute character, it fits the overall art.
It does.
Like this is the art to me is disjoint. Like the part of the art is backgrounds, part of the art is very detailed, realistic, and then you have the cute little thing that's in a completely different color palette.
I have a little bit of problem with the art too. In that same sort of way. I don't mind the disjointedness so much, except
I could get used to it.
Yeah, I can get used to it, but like here, let's back it up just a second, because this is an excellent example. So this is like the main town that you come into, and the main town, it looks pretty good, but all of the art assets to me. So like here, you come into the square in the main town, and it looks like an Unreal 5 asset demonstration.
You're right. Yeah, it does.
The buildings, they look like, fantasy building set number 3. The castle towers look like castle tower set number 5. The trees outside look like asset tree pack number 4, which are all really good and well rendered, and they use nanite and those kinds of things, but it doesn't. I don't think it's anything special. Just because we've now seen these Unreal 5 games come out now. Not
You
that
don't
it's
get
again,
anything from it.
not that it's bad, but for the people that nobody's really saying, oh, the art is going to blow you away. It does look really good. Like here, you're running through the water, and the water looks really good. It looks like Unreal 5 water. And there's the Unreal 5 bridge, and the ground texture looks like it's good. Your armor, you got good cloth simulation, and your armor and weapons look pretty good. It all looks pretty good. So again, it's good. Nothing is bad there. Is anything sort of like really special or unique? Like when I compare it to, it's weird. So I actually compared it to, and I went back and pulled some video and logged into New World to compare it to those. So I compared it to video of Guild Wars. So in Guild Wars 2, that's not right. There we go. Give me the full screen me. Guild Wars 2, for being a decade-old game, looks really good. And almost as good, if not in some ways better, I think, than what I'm seeing in Throne and Liberty. So here's one of the newer expansions from Guild Wars 2.
It feels like it has something going for it.
And it's got its own style, and it's rich, and it makes, the assets feel like Guild Wars assets, and you could feel like the texture of the Janathyr wilds, and which is cool. I like that. I like that, and that's the same thing with New World. So New World is new game engine, and I think New World, to me, New World is beautiful and amazing. Because they make the most of the engine, and they're showing you things again in their own style, and everything's part of that style. Even when they make armor that's like outside, like a steampunk version of an armor set or a samurai version of an armor set, it looks it like still fits the overall style, and it looks really good. And you go into some of these zones, and they're super rich and detailed, and they look like New World. And here, the color palettes and everything just really comes to life in that New World style, and I think it's great. I think it's beautiful. So that's where I think it sort of is fine. And it's a fine place it's still a fine game place to have an MMO, Throne and Liberty. It just in that weird place where it doesn't really set itself apart in any specific way. I'll go through a couple other things because the couple flaws and a couple things which are kind of set apart, which I thought was interesting.
But I just want to say too, like the MMOs that try to set themselves apart
can go bad.
It could work against you. Like I keep going back in my mind to WildStar, which had a lot of similarities to other MMOs, but it definitely had its own style, and it had a different kind of combat. Yeah.
Right. And they kind of might have burned themselves trying to break the mold.
Right. I'm sure there's a lot of things that happen with WildStar that we don't know about that caused its demise, but
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not breaking the mold very much. Mounts is an interesting case. So there's a case where they're trying to do something a little bit different. I think it's fine. The mounts are morphs. So instead of a mount, you become the mount.
Yeah.
So if you want to move fast, you turn into your dash form, which is like a wolf. And there's different skins for it, and that's where you can do some of the cash shop stuff too. A wolf or a panther or whatever, you start running. Can you stay in that form? No. As soon as you stop, you pop out of it. If you stop for a second, you pop out of it. And then when you jump off a cliff, you turn into your glide form. Can you actually fly? No, it's just a glide form. You're an eagle, but all you can do is glide. And then there's a water form too. You turn into like a little otter with a hat. I don't know why, because your wolf form and your bird form don't have a hat, but the little otter has a hat. They're fine.
Because otter asset pack number 6, the otters have hats.
I guess that's where they got the otters with the hats. They're fine. I don't like that you'd like pop out of it immediately. So that guy turned into a bird that's like running, and he's running
Right.
slightly faster than you are, because that's his dash form. But you pop out of it so often. I had to put it on a mouse button. I put it on like a thumb button on my mouse, because you could just pop right back into it, but you have to be like moving. So you have to be like moving forward. I switched over to mouse movement so I could like hold down the right mouse button to move the camera and the left mouse button to move forward, or you're doing WASD movement. So
It sounds like though in this your character there's no okay. Do you need alts? Can you play alts? It sounds like this character does everything.
it does kind of do everything, and alts would be really hard because there's such the long grind to level up your skills and abilities. You kind of can't. And I think per account, you can only have 2 characters maximum. Maybe cash shop, you can buy more. But no, it doesn't seem to be a game made for alts. What it doesn't also seem to be made for is for human hands. There's another aspect. And if you watch any of the videos or learn anything about the game, you will realize very quickly that you need to remap all of the keys immediately because it's impossible to control with the default key load. Because you're supposed to be using WASD to move, and you're supposed to be using your abilities on the buttons, 1 through 0 and minus and equals, so 12 buttons to use your abilities, and press Q on occasion to use your block ability. So all while you're doing WASD, you need to also be pressing the buttons 1 through 9, and your hand needs to be on your mouse the whole time too, because that's what controls the camera at a minimum, even if you were doing WASD movement. And it's tab target.
Interesting.
That's impossible. There's no way that you could work that. How are you going to press WASD to move? Your hand is on your mouse, and press Q to block and 9 to use your ability that's on cooldown while you're trying to back up. Because some of your block abilities require you to be pressing a directional button also. So you have to like be pressing X to do your block ability, because some people's block ability is actually an evasion. It's like a dodge roll. And your block ability is tied to your weapon type. So Forster is saying you should be using an MMO mouse with the 12 buttons on the thumb pad of the mouse. Yeah, that's what some people say. Yeah, you should be. You got to use an MMO mouse. I rebound everything to 1 through 6 and the F keys, which were used for targeting, where they default to targeting. So I do it like I do. I actually moved from WASD to QEWS, WSQE, so that I can use QE to sort of strafe, because there's no strafe buttons. You just press D to move sideways. So I moved D up to E because in other games I use Q and E for strafe. So 1 through 5, F1 through F, or 1 through 6, F1 through F6 are all my abilities. QE for strafe, and WS if I need to move forward and backward for any reason. And then a thumb button for my block ability, and my other thumb button for my morph. It's okay. After I remapped and got the feel of it, it was fine. Gathering is not instanced. Gonna have gathering? Sure. Is it gonna be, gonna have instance nodes like we've learned that MMOs need to be over time? No. So it's whoever runs to the node the fastest gets it. Yay. There's that kind of thing. Are the quests, you got special quests? No. It's like a fetch quest and go talk to this guy, and maybe there's some more interesting quests that come later. I don't know. I didn't run into anything all that much, but no, again, nothing bad. Nothing bad. There's these books around. There's these books around that are kind of like codex entries, except where a codex entry would like explain some interesting tidbit of lore about the world. Some of these kind of do that. I would say maybe 1 in 10, and the rest of them are like garbage text written. Like I found
Like
like a
you found
recipe for
somebody's-
braised beef, like written out on 2 full pages of text.
Right. Like you found their grocery list.
Am I supposed to read like 2 full pages? Yeah, like 300. Am I supposed to read 400 words about braised beef, or am I? I don't understand. Am I supposed to? Is this interesting or is it not? I mean, there's like an achievement for collecting them all. Another one of them was like a transcript of a conversation between 2 people, and I think you can actually overhear that same a conversation while you're standing in the main square. Why did you give it to me as a transcript? Who transcribed this and left it here as pages? I don't know. It's okay. There's this. I forgot about this guy, Benny. He showed up a couple times, and then I think I leave him behind and never talk to him again. Maybe he shows up later. He was kind of cool. What's his story? I don't know.
Running makes my arm hurt, he just said.
So again, nothing bad, but nothing that. But yeah, so ESO does the same thing, but with books. Yes, it does. But ESO always had. That's a Bethesda thing. So we kind of knew, but we also knew that you didn't have to pay attention to it. Here, I was just confused. Am I supposed to pay attention to it or not? Because it seemed like a lore entry, and then it's kind of not. Bethesda, Elder Scrolls, we knew what to expect. There's a million books on all the bookshelves, and you can collect them if you want to, or you don't have to. And some of them you can read a funny version of a story, and but. So yeah, I just didn't know, and maybe it's the same thing here, and it's perfectly fine. But then it doesn't set itself apart. It's just doing the same thing that Elder Scrolls is doing. Then okay, I guess it is. That's fine. Yeah, well, you could say immersion in the world, but is braised beef? I guess that's immersion in the world. Can I make braised beef? Maybe I can. I tried to cook something and I couldn't cook anything because I didn't have any ingredients. I did fishing. It's got fishing.
Did you set your house on fire when you tried to cook?
I set myself on fire. That's the Sim things. Not only do you set your house on fire and like burn down your stove and have to buy a new one, you set yourself on fire because you were making a damn grilled cheese. Who in the real world has ever set themselves on fire making a grilled cheese? My Sim, he's an idiot. Burns down his whole house trying to make a damn grilled cheese. Anyway, I could see playing it. If I was looking for an MMO that I wanted to get into, I could see playing this game. It's
or if your friends
fine.
were all playing it.
Yeah, if your friends all want to go have a new MMO to go play. Yep. It's definitely got that. The longevity of grinding your skills and your weapons and stuff. I like having a long path, and I could see getting into it. Will I be annoyed long term when I have to start, paying real money to buy some things to like transfer my weapon skills or something? I probably would. The monetization to me didn't seem that bad. There's too many currencies. There's like Lucent, which is a cash currency, and ornate coins, which you can kind of earn in game and buy crappier stuff in the cash shop with the ornate coins. And then there's battle passes, and those have a currency. They have star crystals that you can earn and then buy battle pass rewards with them. And you can.
I think that's maybe like something that's like a modern idea that game developers have, that like lots of currencies are better than a few currencies, because it's happening everywhere.
So yeah, there's like 3 cash currencies and there's 2 in-game currencies, because there's the regular gold, which is.
I mean, right now, WoW players are saying only 2 currencies. Wow.
Yeah, right. There's like a daily a daily mission current. So there's dailies too. I did a world event where I had to wait 2 hours for it to spawn again. It was like I had to wait 90 minutes, because it was spawned at a certain time, like once every 2 hours it happens. Okay, so here you've got like this mission in your log. Hey, go do this daily event. Go do the wolf hunt. Okay, go do the wolf hunt, and I get there, and I gotta wait. Okay, so I wait, and I set a timer. I told Alexa to tell me to come back in time for it. I come back. It starts at 5 minutes after the hour. It lasts about 20 minutes, and kill as many wolves as you can, and everybody gets ranked, and everybody gets some rewards. And I had to kill wolves for 20 minutes, though, to get to the end of it. So it was fine. Then I got some gathering materials. I came in and finished in the middle of the pack. I didn't win. Maybe if you win or you're in the top 10, you get something really good. But I got a lot of drops while I was killing the wolves. It's kind of got multi-tag in it. I would still get wolf tails from the multi-tagging, even though their name plate turned gray. Didn't really know what that meant. Nobody could tell me. But you still got wolf tails if you shot somebody else's wolf. I don't know if you get less credit. It's hard to tell. But there's some of that at least. It's not, at least you're not getting nothing in a zone where there's 100 people all trying to kill wolves. That would be really annoying. So it does pretty good with that. Yeah, there's just a lot of nobody knows yet, but it's new and it just launched. But yeah, so that's it. It's a game. It's one of the games of all time. And I could see playing it. I won't, but I could see playing it. There's nothing in here that would make me hate it or not want to play it. So it's got that going for it. If there was a group of, if our Thursday group said, "Hey, we're going to go play Throne and Liberty," I would be fine with that. We would go do it. I could see playing it as an MMO. I'm just surprised they didn't take any opportunities to really set themselves apart or do something out of the ordinary. But is there room for an ordinary MMO that does MMO stuff? Well, sure.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Actually. Yeah, there may not be, but I think there is, and I don't mind it being there. I hope they continue to be successful because I think to have games like this around for you to try out and play. I had fun playing the time that I played, the 10 hours that I played.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a waste or anything bad. So cool. All right, that's it. I probably talked too long. In fact, I did. Look, I blew a whole bunch of time because I would like to hear about Apple games, Sema. So let's transition here now.
So I did promise. Do you have?
You want me to press a button for it?
Game changer.
Game changer. Apple Games is a game changer. You can change out your games. Tell me about Apple
Games. I did promise last week that I would update, and I did sign up for Apple Arcade, which is what they call their, Steam essentially.
Right.
Well, sort of, not really. Yeah. I mean, it's not okay. The shop is called the App Store, but Apple Arcade is a conglomeration of like 200 or so games. And within Apple Arcade, the games do not have ads and they do not have in-game purchases.
Cool.
Which is what interested me about it.
Right.
I'm not really well integrated into the Apple sphere. I do have an iPad which I use for specific things. I don't really play games on it, so I haven't done a lot of interactions with the App Store. What I found with Apple Arcade, which by the way, because I do have an iPad, which means I bought an iPad, then I was able to get a 3-month free trial. So, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah. When I looked at it on my PC, it said 1-month trial, but when I actually went to do it on my iPad, it was a 3-month free which.
Oh, there's some good stuff on here. Some real good stuff. Okay.
So the first thing I came across that I enjoyed was a card game called Hearts, which I used to play the real card game Hearts. And I liked the interface of it. It was nice and clean, smooth. It worked well. The AI of the other players was not super predictable. I'm sure it would be if I played it for 100 hours. But so that was good. But the first thing actually that I ran into is I wanted to look for specific games, and searching in Apple Arcade, there is a queue for search, but if you type something in there, it takes you to the App Store.
Oh.
And
which
then
has like a billion things on it.
Yes. And it's not immediately obvious. I wanted to play 2 Dot because I have a sister who plays it. And she says whenever she doesn't play it in Apple Arcade, but she says that whenever she starts it up, there's an option to play it in Arcade. So I said, okay, I'll try that. And so it took me to the App Store, but there's no Apple Arcade version of 2 Dot. When I looked online, people making blog posts about, what games to look for in Apple Arcade, they would mention 2 Dot. But I think maybe it was available and then it became not available. I don't know.
Okay, maybe it fell off the list, and if you had it before,
as you see some games going by here, they have the plus after the name.
Yeah.
That I believe, is supposed to indicate that it's an Apple Arcade game.
What are the
So, like,
games without a plus? This is
they're games that you can just download and play, but they might have ads, or they're not part of the Apple Arcade service that you're paying for.
because this is the Apple Arcade page. Weird.
Well, then I don't know.
Yeah.
Then I don't know. It's not clear. But
there's some
I
top
found this
games
game.
on here: Vampire Survivors, Balatro, Slay the Spire,
Yeah,
Stardew Valley.
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Stardew Valley is on it. But then again, like I said, you can't search, so I don't know.
It shows it here with a plus after it. Stardew Valley Plus.
I definitely want to try Stardew Valley.
Oh yeah, that hooked me for a long time. Snake, you can play Snake. Snake.io, which is actually a souped up version of Snake, which people like. Angry Birds. Hello Kitty Island is on here.
Yes, it is.
Disney Dreamlight Valley. Yeah. Balatro is supposed to be a really fun card game.
Yes, I read a review of that made it seem really interesting.
It's like a game of the year indie game that people really love. So
I started playing this game called Spire Blast, and it is the perfect wind down game for me. But basically, it's like reverse Jenga. So, like, you have a tower, and it's made up of blocks, and it's 3D, and it behaves like physics. And you get it tells you what color you can click on if you click on a yellow block. And so what you're trying to do is make holes in it to cause the most destruction. And then you get this like cascade of all the colored blocks falling down, and you win when you get to when you've made everything fall.
okay.
So there's no anxiety about building something and things. It's like when it falls over, that's a good thing. And because it's physics based, sometimes you don't realize it, but something that you did made something else fall, and it started to move really slowly, and you're ready to make your next move, but then all of a sudden, this huge number of things come crashing down. It's extremely satisfying, and it's good for like before you go to bed. As I played it more, it got more gamified. Like, you can get different colors of tools that you can use, and it got to a point where you're really supposed to get all the tower down before you run out of moves.
Yeah.
So then you start having goals. And there's one version where a dragon sits in front of this tower, and you have to make the tower fall in the direction of the dragon.
Okay. I get it.
So the dragon eats enough blocks that you make your target. That seems like it should be easy. Like, just remove the right blocks, but it's also very easy for the blocks to fall to the side or to the back. So
Sure. But little, fun little time waster, puzzly, fun little game. Seems like a good set. Is it
right?
Is it worth? Now you've got the free
I don't
trial.
know.
Is it worth the price?
I have to.
It's $7 a month, right? Outside the trial.
I have 3 months to make that decision. I've got to have to find a lot more than this one game. Like, I want to try Balatro. We'll see.
For $7 a month, that seems high to me, because like a lot of these games are like $7 games, so you could just buy a game a month and own it on Steam or Apple Arcade.
I don't know.
Yeah, buy an iPhone game a month. Like, how much is Balatro?
And the other thing is, for them to say there's 200 games on there, well, Steam has thousands of games.
Right. 200 is not very many.
And I think where this might be,
and it's not
perfect,
the newest game,
is you can sit your kid down in front of it and know that they're not going to buy anything.
That is worth $7 a month right there. Good point.
So, like, for me, let's say I get into a pattern of I really enjoy playing this game every night before I go to bed. If I'm actually doing it every day, that's worth $7.
Balatro is $15.
But
on
then,
Steam.
do you have ads and in-game purchases?
Not in Well, you could have in-game purchases, but no ads in a Steam game. I've never seen. I guess I can't say never, but I don't think
Yeah,
so.
I wouldn't expect ads. That's true. But Steam games are not mobile games
True,
either.
true. Unless you have a Steam Deck, which I do.
Well, okay, yeah,
But they're not phone games.
you're right.
But yeah,
I mean, I
$7 a
guess
month
that's
for like $4 a month. Would seem like a good deal, and would be of interest. Now, I still don't know if I would be interested, but that seems to be like the price point that I would kind of like think about. $7
I mean,
a month is kind of pushing it.
I pay $5 every 4 weeks to the New York Times for their handful of games.
Yeah, but that's like best of the best kind of,
Mhm. Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I would say that that's worth it because that's like,
Yeah, I believe it's worth it. I pay $8 a month for Peacock.
but it, I mean, that's what I'm comparing it to is that's like a Netflix subscription. So you're going to get enough out of, but maybe you are, but there's a bunch of free games just in the App Store too. Just
The free games in the App Store are going to have
the
ads and
ads.
and
So I
game
guess you're
purchases.
just paying $7 a month if you want to play a tiny subset of, but some of the good games without ads.
Like,
But again, you could
Amazon
just buy the
Prime has
game.
but then okay, if it's a Steam game, yes.
No, the app that like all these games are also in the App Store, aren't they?
Yes, but then they're going to have ads and in-game purchases.
But you can't like buy like I think if you buy Stardew Valley, that's got no ads or in-game purchases when you buy Stardew Valley on in
Well,
the App Store.
you're right. I know nothing about Stardew Valley.
But you pay $15 for Stardew Valley, you own it. Then it's got no ads or in-game purchases, never has. But you don't have the access to these other 199 games. But yeah, so it's in a
Yeah,
weird spot.
what I was going to say is like Prime Video started this year with commercials, ads in their content, in their video content. And then you can upgrade your Prime membership to a no ad version. And if you pay yearly, it works out to like an extra $3 a month. Just that's a comparison point. And also, it also doesn't eliminate all the ads, just most of them. Like it doesn't eliminate any of the ads that's on their free I think it's called freebie or free tea or poo poo. I don't know what it's
Yeah,
called.
weird.
Stask knows what it's called. I don't know.
$5. If you pay $5, you get the no ad full
Yeah.
version of Stardew Valley. Yeah, so that's weird.
Wait, Stardew Valley is $5?
Yeah, in the App Store for the iOS
Yeah.
version. Yeah. Okay, but still
Yeah,
cool
I mean, these are all
investigation. So that's something interesting
We'll see.
to see. You know what else I wanted to hear about though, Sema, is
Oh.
WoW. I want a WoW update. How's the WoW rating going?
So
I'm living vicariously through you
yes,
for my WoW
I
adventure.
I missed the week before last where our raid team went in and killed the final boss in the first raid. So we did that again this week. And so I did get that kill on normal. And we killed one boss on heroic. And this was with our main tank missing. And Rin, who's a AIE guildie, was filling in as tank and did fantastic job. I mean, he basically stepped into the role of, I mean, we've been running with the same pair of tanks for however long now, 2 years. And he
That's
just,
hard.
yeah, he just jumped in and we killed a boss on heroic. It was amazing, even with me there. And I've been I noticed today way more than before, but I've been steadily sort of improving my gear because that's what this game is. And I went to do some stuff today and I'm like, oh my God, these mobs are just melting now. I'm OP, yay! For now.
Yeah. but you have been, you know,
I
doing the
haven't, I
gear
have been
progression, which
struggling,
is a
and
big
yeah,
chunk of it, which is
it
really
is,
cool.
well, that and also delves. Delves have gotten me a lot of gear.
Yes,
And
and I've been hearing that delves are a cool way to go about it in a good way.
yeah, for me, I've enjoyed them. A friend of mine, Safarix, he doesn't like them at all. So he feels like, I hate that I have to do this content for gear. I don't like it. And I'm like, yeah, sucks to be you.
Yeah. So is he doing like mythics? Mythic
He's fishing.
dungeon?
He was fishing yesterday.
Do you get gear fishing?
Nope.
I forgot to talk
Nope.
about fishing in Throne and Liberty. I did not like the fishing. It
He,
was
I think what he was doing was getting to a point where he could cook some food that he wanted.
fishing
So it was,
in
it was,
Throne and
it was
Liberty is
great
very
prep that way.
active.
Oh,
Click,
yeah,
click,
that's
click, click,
bad.
click, 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 click. I got the fish. Right, cast. Click,
Yeah.
click, 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 and it's like it's going out. It's getting red. It's gonna break it. Click, 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 drag, drag, drag. Oh damn! I lost it. Boy, that's
The cook
frustrating.
Yeah. The cooking in WoW right now is very hard. So um like for instance, you kill however many mobs to get 5 pieces of meat. Then you make those into one steak, and then the food you want takes 15 steaks, and yeah. And then
But isn't that all the professions? I keep seeing like
yes.
complaining
And
posts about professions in general.
all the professions, of all of them, cooking and fishing are simpler. But
Yeah.
there's still, cooking is very punishing. So he was trying to fish up a certain fish, and it was only getting a handful of them, and he needed 5, and then 15 of that, and then you can, one kind of cool aspect of fishing is you can take 5 of your food that you want and combine them to make a version of that same food that will last through death.
Oh,
So it's like food flask kind of a thing.
interesting. It's interesting.
It is interesting. Um,
And a way to go. But when you got to like dedicate all of your crafting time to just like one of the side professions, if you actually want to get anything out of it, that gets a little rough.
yeah, I mean, it. But gold is really available. Everybody has a lot of gold, so the people who like fishing can put those fish on the AH, and you can go buy them with your gold too. So there's
True.
that.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I thought of something that is coming up, which is its 30th anniversary? No, 20th anniversary for what? No, it must be 30th anniversary.
25th? Yeah, no, there is some big anniversary coming up. It's its anniversary.
And that is going to be a huge deal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Like presents for me?
Like presents, like, oh, actually, I think
20th.
you're going to,
Lucy says
20th.
20th.
Okay. I think you're going to have to do stuff to get them.
Oh boy. Had me, then you lost me.
Like, but I'm excited because one of my big WoW regrets, I have 2. One of my big WoW regrets is I wasn't subbed during the 10th anniversary. Like in my whole life, I've only been unsubbed from WoW like 2 or 3 months because
Same.
I kept forgetting to unsub when I wasn't playing.
Right.
And during that time was when they had the 10th anniversary. And then there was a pet that came with that called a molten corgi, which then became a key pet in a lot of pet battle strategies. So I had this like, it lessened over the years because they introduced new pets with the same, set of abilities. But the molten corgi is going to come back in this, not the panda.
Good. There you go.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a molten corgi. That's nice.
Yeah, I can. I don't know what I'm going to have to do it, because like one of the things I think is going to be available is, there's going to be raids, and like the 10-year anniversary, you had to run their sort of time walking version of Molten Core, which was the old early days 40-man raid, and I think that was not trivial, but I'm sure whatever they do this time around will be trivial.
Yeah.
Because that's the style now.
Right. They don't want to disenfranchise people.
Right, and the the pace is you find a group, you go there, it's fun, you run through, you kill things, maybe you die a few times or whatever, but it's not this like DPS race where you have to try 3 times and blah 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 blah. So it's not it may be time consuming, but it's not onerous.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad
But yeah,
that you
I'm
got
looking forward
your
to that.
Silken Court and
Oh yes, Silken Court is a hard fight.
nose girl is
Nose
defeated or
Girl.
whatever happens to her.
Yes,
And
yes.
then-
And then tonight we're gonna go. What are we gonna? We're gonna do because there's a time walking raid out this week, and it's anyway some raid. Oh, Old War. We're gonna run Old War in time walking,
Oh, fun.
which we never finished Old War on our classic team.
Oh, fun. So that is fun.
Yeah, because we
Old
got
War's a cool one.
yeah. We'll see. I don't know that we can do it in one night, but we'll see. Because there's that fight near the end of the guy who doesn't let you renew mana. And then Yogg-Saron himself is a bad fight. I never liked that one.
Yeah. Well, cool. We will continue to live vicariously through you, which will be fun.
Oh, so Lucy in chat says it's 20th for WoW, 30th for Warcraft, and for Warcraft, right? So like there were
Excellent.
the Warcraft
Yeah.
games. So I knew
Yeah.
there was a 30 in there somewhere.
Are you going to then progress through heroic?
Yeah,
All the heroic?
yeah, yeah. We kind of have
Silken
to
Court or
because
whatever?
I mean we
And then is
the
there a new raid that's coming, or have they announced that, or any discussion of?
yes, there's new raids coming. Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
cool. You'll have to keep us updated on that schedule and roadmap as well. So stay tuned to the podcast in future weeks for a roadmap talk. Next week we'll probably do another Blizzard podcast though, and maybe we'll even get a guest. I know somebody who's been playing nonstop since its launch, Diablo 4, and I will play this weekend. I will check it out.
Yeah,
So
I want to hear about it.
yeah, that's going to be fun too. But I think that is good for us for today. All the feed and subscribe links for us are on newoverlords.com, and our video, of course, is up on YouTube/newoverlords. Please come chat with us in our Discord at newoverlords.com/Discord. You can also follow on all the social networks while they last, and we will keep you up to date there too. And with that, we will talk to you soon.
Later, everyone.